A lot has changed since we published our last mock draft.
New York Jets, who signed Justin Fields. The Las Vegas Raiders, of course, traded for Geno Smith. Those two teams are no longer part of the first-round quarterback conversation.
So with that, let's dive into edition number 8 of our 2025 NFL First Round Mock Draft. Number 1, Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward. It feels like a coin flip between Ward and Abdul Carter, but the latter's significant foot injury is suddenly a concern, and quarterback remains Tennessee's primary need with the top free agents and trade targets off the board. The Titans should roll the dice on the dual-threat stud and hope that he can emerge as a cornerstone the way that Jaden Daniels, another guy labeled as a boomer-bust prospect, did as a rookie. Number 2, Cleveland Browns, Abdul Carter. We'll guess that the Browns are content with newcomer Kenny Pickett leading the QB room. Instead of reaching for a quarterback, GM Andrew Berry is happy to take the best overall prospect in this class to pair with Myles Garrett. Number 3, New York Giants, Travis Hunter. Instead of reaching for a QB, the Giants take another generational prospect who can dazzle for Brian Dable's unit on both sides of the ball. Hunter can form a scary shutdown corner tandem with rising star Drew Phillips, or be Malik Neighbors' running mate at wide receiver. Or heck, maybe even both. Number 4, New England Patriots, Mason Graham. With the Pats paying big money to offensive tackle Morgan Moses in free agency, we suppose they won't target LSU's Will Campbell after all. Hey, that's fine, because the Pats couldn't go wrong with Graham. Mike Vrabel knows the importance of building from the trenches, and the hulking Michigan defensive tackle would immediately take the Pats' leaky run D and pass rush to a whole new level. Number 5, Jacksonville Jaguars, Will Campbell. Graham, Campbell, and Michigan corner Will Johnson would all fill pressing needs for the Jags. But with Graham off the board in this exercise, the Jags have a slightly easier decision here with Campbell. If all goes well, Campbell will be Trevor Lawrence's blindside protector for years to come. Number 6, Las Vegas Raiders, Shedeur Sanders. The Raiders already made a trade for Seahawks Pro Bowler Geno Smith, but he's kind of a temporary solution at this phase of his career. Sanders would also benefit from sitting for a year or two, so this honestly would be the ideal landing spot for Deion's kid. Pete Carroll and Tom Brady can take their time mentoring Sanders while Smith keeps them competitive. And even if he doesn't play in 2025, Sanders will at least sell more jerseys in Raiders Nation. Number 7, New York Jets, Tyler Ward. Having signed Justin Fields to replace Aaron Rodgers, the focus now becomes loading up on weapons for the dual-threat QB. The Jets already released Devontae Adams, but they can take the Penn State tight end to form a scary receiving tandem with Garrett Wilson. Fields, Warren, Wilson, Breece Hall? Oh yeah. Number 8, Carolina Panthers, Teteroa McMillan. Bryce Young showed immense improvement as a sophomore with 34-year-old Adam Thielen as their top receiver. Now imagine what Young could do with a bona fide and dynamic number 1 receiver like McMillan as his go-to guy. Number 9, San Francisco 49ers from New Orleans Saints, Will Johnson. Projected trade alert! The 49ers acquired the 9th and 111th overall picks from the Saints in exchange for the number 11 and number 100 selections. With that pick, the 49ers move up to snag Michigan corner Will Johnson, the best defensive back in this class. Also, San Fran desperately needs help in the secondary after losing top corner Charvarius Ward and all-pro safety Talanoa Hufanga in free agency. Number 10, Chicago Bears, Jalen Walker. Montez Sweat led the Bears with 5.5 sacks last season. That ain't gonna cut it in the brutal NFC North. So how about we pair Georgia's Jalen Walker with Sweat, giving Ben Johnson 2 potent pass rushers to get after Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and JJ McCarthy. Number 11, New Orleans Saints from San Francisco 49ers, Luther Burden III. Saints fans might want defense here, but rookie head coach Kellen Moore will want another playmaker to complement Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, and oft-injured receiver Chris Olave. As good as Olave is, Burden has a higher ceiling and would immediately slot in as New Orleans' top receiver. Not saying the Saints would be contenders, but there'd be immense potential here with a Carr, Kamara, Olave, Burden offensive nucleus. Number 12, Dallas Cowboys, Ashton Jeanty. Sorry to be predictable, but it just makes way too much sense. Dallas needs another explosive playmaker to help Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb on offense, and Jeanty is a generational running back prospect. Throw him in the backfield and you have a guy who will post at least 1,500 yards of offense. Number 13, Miami Dolphins, Kelvin Banks Jr. The Dolphins could go anywhere with this pick, but the Texas Longhorns offensive lineman would be a nice value pick here. Banks is an offensive tackle, but could move to guard, and that versatility utility is a bonus given Terran Armstead's long injury history. Number 14, Indianapolis Colts, Josh Simmons. We can only think of the secondary with this pick, but the signings of stud defensive backs Travarius Ward and Cameron Bynum allowed GM Chris Ballard to look elsewhere here. Offensive tackle is not the Colts' most significant need, but Simmons would also be a great value selection here. Number 15, Atlanta Falcons, Michael Williams. We remain adamant that the Falcons have to get a pass rusher, and the release of star defensive tackle Grady Jarrett adds to that urgency. With Matt Judon also leaving, the Falcons can't expect to contend without a game-wrecking edge rusher. Well, Michael Williams is a game-wrecking edge rusher, and a game-wrecking edge rusher is he. Number 16, Denver Broncos from Arizona Cardinals, Colston Loveland. Projected trade alert number 2. The Denver Broncos acquired the number 16 and number 153 picks from the Arizona Cardinals in exchange for the number 20 selection and a 2026 third-round pick. With that pick, the Broncos select Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. There's your 5-star playmaking weapon for Bo Nix that moves Cortland Sutton into a better-suited number 2 pass catcher role. Sean Payton has always loved tight ends, but none of the guys he's worked with in the past had Loveland's skill set and route tree coming out of college. Number 17, Cincinnati Bengals, Malachi Starks. The Bengals secondary was the unit that held this team back from reaching the playoffs a year ago. Cincy faces do-it-all Baltimore Ravens safety Kyle Hamilton twice a year, but they have the chance to get their equivalent here in Georgia's Malachi Starks. With the ideal combination of size, range, athleticism, and football IQ, Starks is a cheat code who can line up anywhere on the field. Number 18, Seattle Seahawks, Tyler Booker. Protecting new starting quarterback Sam Darnold has to be the goal here. GM John Snyder and head coach Mike McDonald will love the Alabama Crimson Tide lineman who excels at pass and run blocking. Number 19, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jahdae Barrett. Extending star wideout Chris Godwin and adding veteran edge rusher Hassan Reddick fills up 2 voids, so the Bucs can focus on their last pressing need here at cornerback. Todd Bowles is the most aggressive defensive play caller in the business. He'll love a physical shutdown corner like Barron, who also has a nose for the ball. Number 20, Arizona Cardinals from Denver Broncos, Kenneth Grant. The Cardinals' makeover on defense got off to a nice start with the signing of ex-Eagle star Josh Sweat. Well, let's add a cherry on top of the overhaul here with the selection of Michigan defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. Number 21, Pittsburgh Steelers, Jackson Dart. The Steelers struck out on Kenny Pickett in 2022 and didn't see enough to keep Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Time to roll the dice again. Dart is ready to start and could flourish immediately with Metcalf and George Pickens as his main weapons. Number 22, Los Angeles Chargers, Emeka Egbuka. The Chargers enjoyed a beautiful turnaround under new head coach Jim Harbaugh, but they desperately need another pass catcher to complement 2024 rookie sensation Ladd McConkey. The 6'1", 205-pound Egbuka averaged 14 yards per catch during his 4 years at Ohio State. His ability to stretch the field and take over in the red zone would make Egbuka the perfect go-to player for Justin Herbert. Number 23, Green Bay Packers, Matthew Golden. Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs are better suited as number 2 and number 3 receivers respectively. Texas's Matthew Golden has the jets and ability to stretch the field that would make him Jordan Love's new favorite target. Number 24, Baltimore Ravens from Minnesota Vikings, Mike Green. Projected trade alert! The Ravens acquire the number 24 selection from the Vikings in exchange for picks number 27, 136, and 205. With that pick, the Ravens address their need for edge rushing help by getting Marshall's Mike Green. Kyle Van Noy is not going to repeat last season's career year, and Odafe Owe is a free agent next year. Pretty good opportunity here to get your new alpha pass rusher. Number 25, Houston Texans, Armand Membu. Having traded Pro Bowler Laramie Tunsil and having released Shaq Mason, offensive line becomes the Texans' biggest need by a country mile. CJ Stroud will appreciate the menacing Missouri tackle who didn't allow a single sack and 411 pass blocking snaps last season. Number 26, Los Angeles Rams, Benjamin Morrison. With no other pressing needs, the Rams can take a chance on Notre Dame corner Benjamin Morrison, whose physicality and football IQ would make him tailor-made for Sean McVay's defense. Number 27, Minnesota Vikings from Baltimore Ravens, Gray Zabel. The Vikings already have an elite offensive line, but it'd be hard to pass on the talents of the North Dakota State offensive lineman who can play guard and tackle. Number 28, Kansas City Chiefs from Detroit Lions, Lions, Josh Connerly Jr. Another projected trade. The Chiefs get the number 28 pick from the Lions in exchange for the number 31 and a 2026 fourth-round pick. With that, the Chiefs bolster their offensive line by taking Oregon's Josh Connerly Jr. Jawan Taylor has been a problem at the bookend, but his contract means Kansas City is stuck with the veteran for another year. They can draft and develop Connerly to take Taylor's spot in 2026. Number 29, Washington Commanders, Nick Scorton. The release of Jonathan Allen may have saved cap space, but it also increased the Commanders' urgency to get more pass rushing help. Fortunately, the 2025 draft is loaded with explosive pass rushers. Dan Quinn gets his new number 1 here in Texas A&M's Nick Scorton. Number 30, Buffalo Bills, Jihad Campbell, 6'3", 244-pound linebacker who had 5 sacks and 119 total tackles last year? Yeah, this is a guy who could be the difference in a playoff game against Patrick Mahomes. Number 31, Detroit Lions from Kansas City Chiefs, Jamar Stewart. They don't have consistent pain-in-the-butt pass rushers outside of Aiden Hutchinson. His season-ending injury exposed that issue. The best pass rusher available at this point is Jamar Stewart, whose 6'6", 290-pound frame would mesh nicely in Dan Campbell's scrappy defense. Number 32, Philadelphia Eagles, James Pierce Jr. The Eagles watched 2 stud pass rushers in Milton Williams and Josh Sweat leave in free agency. Never fear though, Howie Roseman is here. Nobody works the draft better than Roseman, who can find a quality replacement here in Texas's James Pierce Jr. But hey, what changes would you make to our 2025 NFL first round mock draft? Let us know in the comments section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.